making sure we're all live. There we go. All right, so there are two exercises I've really been loving for not only strengthening my legs, which I think is such a foundational part of anything you're doing, because as we age, our legs get weaker. If your legs are weak, it's your entire foundation's weak. So we want to keep those strong. So I've been really enjoying doing sumo squats combined with sweepers to give a strong base for anything that I'm doing. I found that it's actually reducing how much my spine is pushing that stomach forward. So my stomach is actually pulling in. So if you're like me and want to correct that anterior pelvic tilt where you feel like you have a lot of tension back here in your back and you want your spine to be straighter, these are two great exercises we can do together. So this live stream is going to be a follow along workout where we're working out together. So I'm going to be using a combination of dumbbells and resistance bands. We're going to start with a warm-up. I like to do a specific warm-up as opposed to a general warm-up. So I'm going to be using the exercises we're doing unweighted to then warm up those specific muscles of the core and legs. So for our first exercise, we're going to be doing a sumo squat. Now this squat, we have a nice wide stance, so feet double shoulder width apart. And what I'm going to be doing is holding my hands right in front of my waist like I'm holding a dumbbell. I'm not holding one yet, but I still want to model that correct form. From here, I'm going to push my hips out to the back, leaning forward slightly as I do this. So I'm pushing my hips back and I'm leaning forward, keeping my knees wide. So just like I'm riding a horse or doing a sumo stance. So I'm warming up these adductor muscles on the inside of my thigh and the muscles in my quads, glutes, and hamstrings. So it's working a lot of the lower body muscles all at once. I'm doing about 10 reps of these, trying to get some blood flow into those muscles. Now you might feel a little bit stiff at first where you can't go quite that low. That's okay, that's the purpose of the warm-up, to get loosened up, to get those muscles able to move through that full range of motion. I can tell you my left side feels tighter than my right on this one. Now the second exercise is a core exercise, working especially those lower abdominals. The abdominals go from the rib cage all the way down into your hips. And so we're working especially those abdominals below the belly button that help support the hip movement. So for this, we're gonna do a sweeper. So for this, I'm just gonna do 5 to get warmed up. My hands are on the ground. I'm going to slide them under my hips. So knees bent. I'm going to lift my hips up to the front, slide my hands underneath, and then back. So if you ever hit your hips, if your hands bump into the hips, you're not lifting your hips high enough. So from here, the more bent your knees are, the easier it is. So if it's too hard, with your knees out like this, try bend your knees up a little bit more. For a warm-up, I just have my knees pretty bent just to get some blood flow into those abdominals. And then as I go, I will straighten out my knees a little bit more in the second set. Just doing 10 reps to get warmed up. All right. Now I'm gonna grab a dumbbell. Now I'm still warming up. I'm just easing into my full working weight with the sumo squat. So it's a lot of, I feel a lot of tightness in here, and I don't think I'm quite ready to go to a full working weight yet. So I'm gonna try 10 reps with half working weight. So holding that dumbbell right in front of my hips, I'm gonna bend my knees, pushing my hips out to the back, and then stand up. I'm trying to really push my hips back and lean forward to engage more of those glute muscles. All right. I started to loosen up, feel a little bit better. If you're liking this workout, if you're enjoying these types of exercises, hit that like button for me to let me know you want more content like this. All right, now with the sleeper, I'm gonna be going a little bit straighter with my legs. So easing in from here, going out a little further to engage a little bit more of those abdominals. I'm really trying to lift my hips up off the ground without swinging my legs. I'm trying to lift from the core. And without any twisting of the hips. All right, so that's our warm up. Feel pretty good in my legs, good in my hips. So we're gonna go into our full working sets for sumo squat. Now this is great, especially if you have anterior pelvic tilt, where your hips sort of tilt back, your stomach pushes out forward. You might even have your head tip forward like this. So as we work these muscles, it pulls those hips back like this, where it's supported from the spine. Now, if you have tight hip flexors, it can be a great thing to stretch those, but you also want to strengthen the muscles that support that spine in that position. Otherwise, those tight hip flexors will just get tight again. So, we'll stretch those a little at the end, but now we're going to be strengthening these glutes and adductors especially. Some of the quads, but more the glutes and adductors with this sumo squat. So I'm going to have my feet nice and wide, hands right in front of my belly button. And then from here, I'm going for 15 reps. Going down, almost touching the ground, and then back up. Now, you don't have to do exactly 15. You want to go until you feel tired though. So pick a weight that makes you tired. If you're just starting out, I would aim for something that makes you tired at 10 reps. I'm not bending from my back. I'm pushing my hips out towards the back. And that keeps your back straight and engages from your glutes. Oh. All right. So instead of bending from the back, I'm pushing my hips out to the back, and that keeps the spine straight. All right, I like to pair this with core. So I'm gonna try and keep my knees at a soft bend. So they're not bent up like this. They're almost straight with a little bit of bend to them. Give my core a challenge doing this. So working that abdominal muscle of the rectus abdominis. Goes from that rib cage down into your pelvis. So from here, lifting your legs up and hips up, and then back down, tap. Should feel the core have to lift those hips. And 10. It's hard to talk and do that exercise at the same time. So you should feel that burning right here. Now with any exercise, we want to do multiple sets, because as we do multiple sets, it increases the amount of muscle growth we can get from each workout. So we're going to go straight back in to another set of sumo squats. Quick sip of water and then we'll do that. Now I'd like to know, what is your go-to piece of workout equipment? Do you like dumbbells? Do you like cables or bands? Or are you more of a bench sort of exercise person? Curious what you guys use in your workouts. I'm gonna take just a quick second. Before going into the second set. I'm grabbing onto the cool metal of the frame because I'm cooling off my hands to help cool my whole body. Your hands, your feet, and your face are the three big ways to dissipate heat. So since I have shoes on, can't do the feet, so I'm trying to cool off my hands to cool off my body faster. It's a little warm in here. It's been kind of hot for March here. And I want my muscle to be the limiting factor on this exercise, not overheating. All right, going for a second set of sumo squats. I'm gonna try for 3 sets in all, if I feel up to it. We'll have to see how this one goes. I wanna make sure that they're good, strong sets. So, I like looking to the front to keep my back straight. I'm really trying to push my hips out to the back. All right. That's great because it really stretches these adductor muscles on the inside of the thigh. So the deeper I go, the more of a stretch these get. A lot of people think they have tight hamstrings and don't realize they also probably have tight adductors. And so as we tension those muscles, it actually helps stretch them and strengthen them in that stretched position. So stretching is great. If we can stretch and strengthen, that's even better. Now, as some of you know, I am a big fan of stretching. I think it feels so good, and it's a great way to start working out. If you haven't been, start by doing some stretching to get that flexibility. And it's an easier way of easing in to putting tension on your muscles and creating that mind-muscle connection of being able to feel where that muscle is and how much tension is going through it, so you reduce your, I think, reduce your risk of injury, because you have a better proprioceptive feedback from that muscle. Proprioception is a big word for meaning just your body's signals that it's sending from back to the brain, telling you where those limbs are in space. It's like pressure and stretch and things like that, and tension. So doing sweeper, I'm gonna put my hands and slide them in towards the middle underneath my hips. So sort of sliding like this, so that I'm lifting my hips up off the ground. All right, so my legs are soft bend in the knees, and then lifting up to the front, feeling that, working the abdominals. Think about bending that spine up. Imagine it like a reverse crunch. And, oh. So for me, that exercise takes a lot out of me, but that's good. Usually the exercises that are the hardest are also the ones we need the most. So I know I've always disliked crunches, but doing them now, it started out really difficult. It's gotten a little easier as I've done these the last couple times. So I'm building up that strength, and eventually it'll get to the point where that's much more trivial. So if you're working out with me, let me know in the chat. Our goal is to build healthy, strong bodies. I want people to not have to deal with pain, not have to deal with aches and feel like, oh, I'm just getting older, and lose that capacity. Because really, if we maintain that movement, maintain our muscle health, there's no reason we have to start moving like we're older. It's just a matter of continuing to work that muscle, continuing to keep it healthy. And especially after 35, our body starts, if we aren't using that muscle, it starts taking that muscle and recycling it. So you lose about 1% of muscle per year, give or take. So if you don't do anything about it, you're losing muscle a little bit at a time. Every year, it chips away. But if we maintain it or even increase it by working that muscle, then we can keep that muscle strength and keep moving and able to do things we want to do, whether it's hiking, climbing, biking. Let me know in the chat, what would you guys do at 70 and 80? What would you want to keep on being able to do through the rest of your life? For me, I want to be able to move without pain in my joints, in my back. So I want to keep that muscle healthy and strong all through my body, especially my lower body. All right. That was set number 3 of sumo squats. So after this, we'll do some upper body exercises too. Got one more set of core. I'm just getting these 2 exercises out of the way, the sumo squat and the core exercise, because I know for me, those are really important for me right now, but they're also so draining. So I'm getting them out of the way first, because I know if I wait till the end, I'm not going to want to do as many sets because they're so tiring. So finish those first. Now I can work on upper body after. I think upper body is important to maintain shoulder health and spine health in your neck as well. A lot of times, if your spine is forward here and then it's gonna pull everything down here out of whack too. So we want to maintain everything, but especially this, working those hip muscles builds a strong foundation that helps set up the rest of your body. So going in to our last set of core. Out here in the sides, but in the front where this rectus abdominis cramps, feel like that has happened to me with core, so I'm trying to strengthen this muscle but not push it so far that happens. Sometimes I can push those muscles a bit far. So we'll see if we can get to 10 today on this 3rd set. I might need to bend my knees a little bit more to make it a little easier because I can feel the muscles already tired. All right, trying for 10. Lifting these up and then back. 7, 3 more. 8, 9, and 10. It's important to not hold your breath as you're doing those, because if we hold our breath, it actually fills up your lungs and you're pushing against, be like trying to squeeze a balloon. So you would be squeezing against those lungs. We don't want to do that. So try and breathe normally as you're doing core. All right. So now we're going to shift to doing some incline bench work. So for the bench, I'm doing a bench press with dumbbells on a 45-degree incline. So what that does is it emphasizes a bit more of those. You guys see that? Where it's flickering a little bit? Hopefully it's coming through okay. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know if that was just on my monitor or if that was on the stream too. So the bench press though, so doing an incline works more that upper part of your chest. So you've got 3 big pieces of the chest, where it's lower chest, middle chest, and upper. The incline really hits that upper more than other types of exercises for the chest. So that's why I like to include that. So we're working that tricep, the anterior deltoid, and that chest, especially the upper chest. So I'm gonna grab a lighter dumbbell to start with because we're gonna warm up again for the chest. Making sure this is right in the middle. And setting the bench to a 45-degree angle. So I like to do exercises in pairs. So for this, I'm pairing this with a row. So for the row, gonna be using some bands. So first with a warm up, setting the weights on my knees, using my knees to kick them up into position. From here, I'm gonna bring the dumbbells to the outside of my shoulder, so they're nice and wide. I want them in narrow by my chin, I want them out here by my shoulder. From here, I'm gonna push up to the ceiling and then all the way back down to my shoulder. So we're doing full range of motion on this one. So, trying to go all the way up, all the way down for 10 reps just to get warmed up. I'm pushing my chest out to the front, so I'm arching my back a little bit as I do this to really let that chest muscle fully stretch out. My back is rounded. I'm not giving myself a good foundation to chest press or to bench press. So I want my chest up, not caved in like this. So if my chest is down here like this, I'm trying to bench press, it's already really short and it doesn't have anywhere to go. It's be like grabbing, stretching from here rather than stretching all the way from here. So I don't want to just be working this part of the muscle, this middle part. I want to be working that full length of the muscle, and that's what's going to make it bigger faster as well. Because instead of just working half the muscle, we're working the whole muscle. So we want to really keep that chest up to engage that full length of muscle. So now we're going to do a row. And I like to do this with one with resistance bands. I find it's easier for me to isolate the lats, which are the big muscles along, they go from your shoulder all the way down to your lower back. So this is the pull-up muscle, or one of the main pull-up muscles. There's a lot of muscles involved in pull-ups. So what I'm gonna do, I'll set these down for just a second. So I'm making a loop and then threading the band through that loop. And that's what's gonna give me a secure anchor to the post. So this takes just a minute to set up. Nice thing is if you're ever tired between sets, setting up the next exercise, if you're in a home gym like this, is great because it gives you time to recover while you're still utilizing your time well in the gym. I like doing home gyms better than working at commercial gyms because I feel like I can go at my pace. I'm not having to worry about people waiting for different machines or different pieces of equipment. So if you're ever looking to set up your own home gym, and like any of the equipment I have here, I put links down below that help support the channel and make it easy to find all this, what I'm using here. So if you ever see a piece of equipment you like, most of it is down below in the links. The rack isn't and the bench isn't, but those are both, so if you're ever interested, I can let you know where to find those as well. Naveen, good to see you. How are you today? Whew. So we're going into a row. How have your workouts been going? So for the row, I'm starting with my hands out in front of me where the band is pulling me forward. I'm gonna step 1 foot back so that I'm not gonna get pulled over. And then I'm gonna pull to my rib cage, engaging those muscles in my upper back. Bean says, I'm great, excellent, good to see you. Glad you're doing well. So we just got done with some lower body exercises and we're going to our upper body. I like these exercises. They're very classic, and they're classics for a reason because they hit muscles so effectively doing upper body in both directions. So I really like the pairing of the row and the bench press. I think they're very effective. These are what are called compound movements, where they hit multiple muscles all at once. So we hit muscles in the arms, some of the shoulder, the back, and the chest in 2 exercises. So they're very efficient. Do you guys do bench press in your workout routine? And if not, what exercises do you do? What's your favorite exercise, would you say, for hitting chest? I know some people like to do pec flies, and I think they're a fine exercise. I just think they hit fewer muscles. You hit more of that chest, but less tricep, and I really like having that arm component in these. So, I'm going to my full working weight now, aiming for 15 reps. Because with this, I really feel like I get some of that arm in that tricep as well. Naveen says, Gregory, bro, it's late for me, but liked and favorite exercise is doing push-ups. Oh my gosh, I think push-ups are such a good exercise too. Thank you for the like. Thanks for being here. Always great to see you, Naveen. Push-ups actually have an extra benefit over bench press because you get some more of that scapular protraction. And relax. That is true. That is something here, let me set these dumbbells down, then I'll talk. So an advantage with the push-up is you can get a little bit of that protraction movement where you get that shoulder blade pulling forward. The bench press, you really want to stabilize, so you lose some of that serratus anterior, which is the muscle that goes from your shoulder blade into your rib cage in here. You know, that sort of feathery look? So push-ups are a great way of doing that, especially push-ups with a plus, where you push the shoulder blades forward. So that is an awesome exercise. And it's great because you don't actually need any extra equipment for that either. I find it's a little hard to set up the camera for push-ups for this to see what's going on. But definitely a phenomenal exercise. Now, how about for row or for your lats? What's your favorite exercise for the lats? I've really been liking doing a standing row with resistance bands or cables. I find the resistance bands are a lot more effective for me than dumbbells because I'm not having to think about what's going on at my lower back. I can really focus in on my lats. And that mental focus makes a big difference in how this exercise feels. So for a row, sorry if that was a little loud, I'm gonna hook the handles. Tension the band. Got a little bit of twist in that. There we go. So I'm tensioning the band so it's pulling me forward. One step to the back so it doesn't pull me over. I'm gonna drive my elbows to the back. So pulling my hands to my rib cage. I'm going till I feel tired in those muscles. 15. Oh man, that was set 1. All right. It is warm in here today. So that's something I really like about resistance training is we're getting a great workout, we're burning calories, but we're also building muscles. So if you're looking to lose fat, building muscle is a great way of doing that because you're taking those resources away from fat, putting them into that muscle instead. You actually store sugar in your muscle. And so as we build that muscle up, that's more resources going to that muscle that we won't have to store in fat. So there's a lot of health benefits to that, of not having too much adiposity or size in your fat cells. So we're trying to maximize building muscle as much as possible. So to do that, I'm going for multiple sets of each exercise, trying for 3 sets on these, going for upper body. So doing incline bench, pushing up to the front, and then back out to the outside of the shoulder. Trying to keep my chest open, so I'm arching my back. So I'm arching the back to really push out that chest. And relax. Yeah, it's getting to that point in the workout where this is all real tiring. Just resting the dumbbells on my knees, relaxing for a moment. So heart rate actually goes a little bit high. As you're working resistance training, your heart rate will spike up, and that's okay. But we let it drop down between sets because we want our heart to not be our limiting factor on this exercise. All right. Now, while the chest is recovering, I'm going to be working the lats. So doing a pulling exercise while the pushing muscles are relaxing. I'm just going to let my heart come back down a little bit though, because right now I'm at 142, which is a little elevated. It's dropping back down quickly, but because it's so hot, heart rate tends to go up, and that is a big limiter on my workout, is actually overheating. Whew. Now, for the row, curious you guys have ever tried this standing row before. I know for me, it's a lot easier on my lower back to do a standing version rather than a leaning over version or a bent over row. There we go. 13, 14, and 15. Man, I'm glad I've already done legs in this workout, because that's tiring. But that's good. If it's not tiring, then we're not really building muscle. So I'm gonna give myself just a sec to relax, to let my heart rate come back down, because I know I can do more. If I keep on pushing quickly, then I'm not gonna be able to actually have the same result of strength building I know I could. So I'm letting my fatigue go down a little bit, and then I'm gonna hit it again with another set to maximize how much muscle I'm building in this set. So if you're looking to build muscle, hit that subscribe button. I go live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Our goal is to build muscle and stay healthy. So I'm just trying to show exercises showing how to build strength and muscle without injuring, so that we can be happy, healthy for the rest of your life. So it doesn't matter if you're 20 or 70, we can make this exercise work for you. So we're gonna do one more set and then finish up with some rotator cuff exercises. Okay, last set. It's just the last set. So if you're working out with me, and don't feel like you can get 3 sets, that's okay. I would recommend, if you're starting out, start with 1 or 2 sets and then see how you feel after that. If you've been doing this a while, going for a 3rd set is a good idea to continue to progress and challenge that muscle. Maybe you can even do more than 3 sets. Just make sure you're challenging your body in each set, because it's not just about the number of sets, it's about the number of challenging sets you do. I feel like my chest is cramping a little bit right now. We'll see how this last set goes. I might have to do fewer reps in it, and that's okay if that happens. Okay, I'm trying to keep good form though all the way through. Really keeping those hands wide to really stretch out that chest. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, trying to go for 15, 13, 14, 15. All right. That was burning in the chest. That's good though. That burning feeling is actually fatigue. And that's a good sign that we're challenging that muscle and it's going to cause it to grow. Oh man. All right, one more set of rows and then we'll shift to some rotator cuff. Now, there's a lot of different ways of doing the rotator cuff. I like to do it with bands because I find that I can get more muscles involved with one exercise. We'll do that after though. We're doing one more set of rows to balance it out. So we just did 3 sets of pushing muscles. Now we're gonna do 3 sets of pulling muscles, or the third set of the pulling muscles. So laying the bands pull you forward, 1 foot step to the back so you don't get pulled off balance, drawing the bands to the rib cage. So I'm pulling to those ribs, working the lats in the upper back. I'm really trying to draw those elbows back to my ribs. 12, 13, 14, all the way back to the front on each one, and 15. All right. I'm glad I don't have any large muscles left to go. If I had saved legs till the end, I think that would have been too much for me to handle at this point in the workout. So sometimes picking which exercises you do first is really important. Some people like to do their hardest exercise first to get it out of the way. I think that can be a really good thing to do to make sure that you get the most important exercise for you in when you're most fresh. Getting this bench out of the way. A lot of times I found that people, and I'm included in this, let me say it this way, I found that I tended to think more about exercises one workout, where I pushed so hard in one workout that I would be just breaking down my body in that single workout so much that I couldn't work out the rest of the week sometimes. I'd be so sore or almost injured that my body couldn't recover fast enough to work out again. And I found that that's true for a lot of people, where they go and push really hard in one workout and then never go back. So what I recommend is going 90% instead of 100%. So try and you're still getting that A workout, but doing it in a way where you can come back the next day or in 2 days, work that muscle again and actually make more progress than the person that gave everything in one workout and then 0% in the second one. So if you gave 100% in the first workout and then 0 in the second, that's still just 100%. If you gave 90% in the first workout, 90% in the second workout, that's 180. So it actually adds up more over time. The more we can add those workouts together, the better we can be. So for this exercise, this is for that rotator cuff muscles in the back of the shoulder, right back here, the back of the shoulder in here, and then we're working a little bit of these rhomboids too behind the shoulder blades. So for this, I'm gonna have my hands at face level, So I'm gonna pull to my ears, doing that rotator cuff. So I'm externally rotating by bringing my hands up to my ears rather than down here like a row. I want it to be up here, and that's what's gonna engage those rotator cuff muscles. So let's see if I can get this in frame. So going from here, pulling to your ears, working the upper back muscles between the shoulder blades and behind the shoulder, the ball and socket of the shoulder. Ten, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh. Now, so we did a lot of functional muscles. Now we're gonna do one vanity muscle of doing the bicep. So personally, I want to have bigger biceps. So we're gonna do a banded curl. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to look good. For a long time, didn't do anything for physique because I thought I just focused in on strength because I thought I could never get to look like the people in the magazines. And I've realized that that's actually just held me back. So I'm gonna try and do a little bit, just a little bit day by day to strengthen muscles, to get stronger, to build up that muscle tissue. I'm trying to not lean forward as I do this. Wow. 14, 15. Oh. Just trying to really go all the way back down with that exercise. I like these handles. It's easy to get in and out of these. It can be a little hard to hook them in the band with two, but other than that, I really like these handles. They're very comfortable to use. Pulling back to my ears, working that rotator cuff both sides. So right in the back of the shoulder, the back of the ball and socket. And 15. Now, if you're just starting out, you might only be able to get 8 of these. That's okay. I would start lighter than you think you can, and then try and go for reps rather than going really heavy. These are much more endurance muscles. So high reps is good, even if you have to do it just using your arms to get that movement. That might be tiring enough if you haven't done that exercise before. A lot of people don't strengthen this muscle, and that causes shoulder problems because if these are weak, they're not holding that ball and socket tight into that socket, and it can cause it to slip and start bumping into that tendon or bumping into the nerve. If you've ever hit your funny bone, that same nerve is right here in your shoulder. It's the brachial plexus, goes into that shoulder, and that's that same nerve as the ulnar nerve. Feeds in right here. So if you imagine hitting your funny bone in your shoulder, not good, especially if you're holding weights at the time. I wouldn't want that for anybody. So that's why I'd like to say strengthen the rotator cuff to help reduce the risk of that happening. So if you have strong rotator cuff muscles, it'll keep that ball and socket firmly in place. If you have shoulder pain, that's a great place to start, is by working that rotator cuff muscle and see if that goes away. because sometimes it's just a simple matter of strengthening that rotator cuff so it doesn't bump into the nerve anymore or the tendon. So try and stand straight and tall, pulling up to the front. I'm trying to lift my pinky just a little bit. I'm trying to not lean forward. 8, 9, 10. You guys keep me accountable. Make sure I'm not leaning forward at all. 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is a 30-pound band. So pulls at 30-pound weight for the curl. Oh man. So I like to really go out rather than down with that curl because it keeps that pressure on the bicep the whole time. I found that's made a big difference in how much my arms have been growing. So my arms are bigger than they were significantly. I'm not trying to like flex on anyone, but because it's just, for me, used to be a little bit more like this, where I had more sleeve. Now it actually fills up the sleeve a bit better because I've been doing that where I go to that full lengthen position. Now there are people with bigger arms than I have, and part of that is just how long they've been doing it. I haven't dedicated as much time to do bicep curls. I kind of regret that now, but I'm changing that by starting today. The best time to make a change to start working out is today. You can't regret what you didn't do before or let that limit you. You don't want to if you feel like you're weak in a muscle and so you stop working it, that's actually the worst thing you can do because it's a weak muscle will get even weaker. So even though it feels weak, even though it feels hard, those are the exercises you want to make sure you do. Hang on one moment. Okay. So last set of face pulls. Starting my hands out in front of my face, pulling to my ears, and all the way back forward. So I'm trying to pull wide at my ears. I'm not trying to pull my chin. I'm trying to pull to the ears. Wow. 13, 14, and last one, 15. A lot of people feel weak in this exercise and their rotator cuff just gets weaker if they stop doing this, because it doesn't get the work that it needs to support the shoulder. So throwing those in can be a great way of restabilizing that shoulder, building up healthy, strong shoulders. Sometimes doing that gives your body that awareness of that muscle, and so on things like rows, you start engaging that rotator cuff more, those retractors more, to pull the shoulder blade back into that stable position as well. So they're a great exercise to include in any routine. Even if you're doing legs, you can always throw in a face pull, and that's totally fine. All right, last set. Going for bicep curls. My arms are tired. If you guys have been working out with me, let me know in the comments that you've been doing this set. Let me know how you feel after. Are you tired? You feel like you could do more? Or you feel like you've got pretty good all around, worked everything quite a bit? So we're gonna finish out with some bicep curls. The reason I like to throw these in is because the rows don't quite get as much bicep as I would like. So while everything else is tired, I'm just adding a little bit of extra bicep. So you can see my hands are a little forward, so I'm putting tension on that bicep at this bottom position. From here, I'm gonna pull up to the front and then back out forward. Trying to not lean forward. You guys keep me accountable. Call me out if I lean forward. 10. Counting on you guys. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh. Because if I lean at all, like this, I've taken all that tension off the bicep. So that's the cheater way of doing bicep curls, is to go up and then lean forward, and as you go back down in that lengthening. All right, so if you like these live streams and want to see more, I host them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So hope to see you there. Thanks for being here.